Hello, my name is William Litsey, and today we will be discussing the differences in film across different cultures. Webster Dictionary defines film as the process, art, or business of making movies. And just like conventional art has developed and changed between different cultures through history, so has film. Film is one of the most influential and accessible mediums available to the general public. As the Academy for Cultural Diplomacy states, film truly helps educate, enhance, and sustain relationships to break stereotypes and transcend borders at a number of levels. Film, however, varies across different cultures as vibrantly as language and food, despite many similarities. Whether it is the intense symbolism of French films or the grand spectacle of American films, film is an integral part of the unique culture of different areas. Film, however, along with nearly every conventional topic, cannot be discussed without first giving at least a brief history. The first motion pictures were in fact something called magic lanterns. According to Encyclopedia Britannica, magic lanterns, or phenakistoscopes, were invented in 1832. They achieved the illusion of motion by mounting successive phase drawings of things in motion on the large face of the disc. This process was refined as photography advanced, giving more smooth, longer, and bigger images. However, the first motion picture as we know it was made by a photographer named Edward Muybridge in sometime between 1872 and 1877. Edward was charged by Governor Leland Stanford, who was an avid racehorse breeder, to prove that a racehorse lifted all four hooves off the ground when galloping. Edward then set up a series of 12 cameras along the racetrack, with the shutters attached to a thread. When the horse broke the thread, the shutter went off, thus capturing the horse in motion. When showed in quick succession, the horse appeared to gallop across the screen, thus giving birth to the motion picture. From then on, film split into many different genres and styles, mainly sticking to dramas and comedies. At first, many countries are making much of the same genre of content, but as film developed, so did the films. While America made Western films such as The Broncho Kid and comedies like Convict 13 in the 1920s, France began to make such films as Un Chien Andalou, which use rich, dramatic symbolism to describe the rottenness of the bourgeoisie in France. And thus comes the paradigm shift. Different cultures began to find their own identity in film, with America focusing more on spectacle and action, while European countries began to make more dramatic, symbolistic movies based on dialogue and deep meaning. This is not to say that American filmmakers did not make symbolistic films. Many films such as the 1942 Casablanca or Charlie Chaplin's The Great Dictator proved to be very political and symbolistic. However, the focus in America was more towards spectacle and action. America in the 1920s to the 1940s was recovering from a war and also went through a depression. During the brief time of prosperity before the Great Depression, the American film was saturated with comedies and dramas such as Beat My Wife, Yankee Doodle in Berlin, and Don't Change Your Husband. These films all promoted prosperity, flippant living, and enjoying life to its fullest, perfectly mirroring the viewpoint of the time. Once the Depression hit, however, films tried to distract their audiences from the burning economy outside the theater walls. The films were centered on comedies, starring the likes of Cary Grant and Katharine Hepburn. While the public went to see films such as I'm From Missouri, it was less to enjoy the film and more to forget the world outside. Films such as Jimmy Stewart's The Philadelphia Story tried to diffuse some of the tension between the impoverished masses and the businessmen that benefited from the crash. In the film, the main character goes from hating the upper class, saying such things as the prettiest sight in this fine, pretty world is the privileged class enjoying its privileges, to learning that class does not matter, but what matters is the people that inhabit that class. In Europe, however, the film scene was very different, and also varied across different countries. Because of the tension from political issues in the area, many films took a very political approach. German actor and director Fritz Lang made the film Metropolis in 1927, which took place in a science fiction setting where the masses were being suppressed by the government, and one woman rallied them together to fight against the system and fight for individuality. Leni Riefenstahl's Triumph des Villains in 1934, however, was made by the Nazi Party, but still used much of Lang's symbolism. Riefenstahl's piece portrayed Hitler as a hero of the people, finally returning Germany and its people to their former glory. Russian films, however, was either used for propaganda or experimentation. It was, for instance, the Soviets that discovered the idea of montage, or that you could assign meaning to a clip from the clips around it. They did this by showing a clip of a man, followed by a clip of a bowl of soup. Then they had a clip of a man again, with a clip of a dead child. People marveled at the subtlety of the man's performance, even though it was the same clip of the man.